After all these years, Peter finally gets to meet his dad. He learns about his father's history, learns about what he is, and eventually, of course, things go bad. Look, it's not better than the first one. It never was going to be. It's pretty much impossible. The first Guardians of the Galaxy was a story about all these weirdos and loners who come together and find a family in each other, and it was this beautiful story. And the Guardians are characters that work best in that type of story. The movie starts off a little weak. The dialogue feels a little clunky, the jokes don't hit quite as hard as you want them to. But you stick with it because these characters are still the same people that you love from the first movie. And it's good that you're sticking with it because you were rewarded. Because once Star-Lord meets his dad, it's all smooth sailing from there. The sheer amount of character arcs that are happening in this movie is insane, and the fact that they all work is even more insane. All of these characters in this movie are dealing with big, personal issues, and the way that they all wrap up is just so satisfying. And they don't have to tell you a lot to make these arcs work. You can just understand from the actors' performances. Now, obviously, this is the role Chris Pratt was born to play. This is going to be his most iconic role. This is going to be what he's known for the rest of his life. He's just so perfect as Peter Quill. He's charming, he's relatable, he feels human, everything about him is just brilliant. And Chris Pratt does a great job at portraying Peter Quill's struggle with discovering all this stuff about his father. Zoe Saldana is totally perfectly cast as straight-laced Gamora. Gamora's dealing with this conflict with her sister, she's worried about what Peter's going through, and Zoe Saldana portrays it perfectly. Dave Bautista's comedic timing as Drax makes that character lovable, it makes us like him in a way that we probably shouldn't. And he meets this very innocent woman that he develops a very platonic friendship with. And this woman's innocence reminds him of his daughter, and it reminds him of this love that he used to have, this person that he lost. And Dave Bautista does a great job of portraying the importance of this woman to Drax. Bradley Cooper's voice for Rocket is so perfect, it perfectly encapsulates everything about what he is. Rocket continuously has to deal with these regrets about him being this selfish, impulsive piece of crap. And at the same time, he's got to raise Baby Groot. Now, Baby Groot's the only character in here without a real arc, because he's more so the comic relief. But boy do they use that innocent little face well. There are some really great comedic bits that they use him for. And some of them are these weird, dark jokes that I wouldn't expect to see in a mainstream blockbuster. It's just one of those things that shows you that Guardians is a unique franchise. Michael Rooker is really able to show a lot of range and a lot of big acting chops as Yondu. The story is about redemption, betrayal, sacrifice. He goes through this massive arc. He's a character that wins you over by the end, and Michael Rooker plays him brilliantly. He was the strongest part of this movie by far. Karen Gillan as Nebula sounds creepy and evil, and she looks the part. She's great. And Nebula has to deal with this thirst for vengeance on her sister Gamora. She has to deal with her horrifically dark past where she was abused as a child. And her inner struggles just come out in Karen Gillan's performance. Kurt Russell is real solid as Peter's dad. Real solid. The way that more is revealed about him as time goes on, and how it gets darker and darker. And he's this complicated character with weird motivations that still in some way make sense. And Kurt Russell is an actor with enough charisma that he piques your curiosity. One concept in this movie that I love is that there's this planet of these golden, godlike people. They believe that their species is genetically superior because they found a way to engineer these people to be the perfect being. Which is hilarious because they're just these arrogant idiots. They screw up constantly, and seeing all the flaws and all the cracks in this society that claims that they're perfect is just a joy to watch. James Gunn is a fantastic and unique director. and he's great with all these actors. He knows how to tell this weird story, and he's able to make the movie visually interesting. He totally captures the Marvel space aesthetic. The color palette is vibrant and beautiful, and you can tell that James Gunn is very focused on making this a great looking movie. And the way that his voice and his style come through in this big studio machine is amazing. Guardians Volume 2 gives you characters that you love, maintains them while also giving them new arcs to go through. The characters are exciting and compelling and funny. We want to see them succeed. The changes our characters go through are dramatic and fascinating to watch. Not to mention that it is just a fun and entertaining science fiction movie by itself. The only real issue with it is that at the beginning some of the dialogue is pretty clunky. I'm gonna give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 an A.